The night before vows should have been a night of stillness, a night of calm reflection where a bride steadies herself before stepping into forever. That's what Emily Parker kept telling herself as she sat curled up on the cushioned bench by the window of her hotel suite. The skyline outside glittered with the kind of life and energy she wished she felt inside. But her chest was tight, her palms restless, and every time she closed her eyes, her mind raced in directions she didn't want it to go. Tomorrow morning, she would walk down the aisle. Tomorrow morning, she would face Ryan Miller, the man she had loved for almost 5 years and promised to spend the rest of her life with him. Everyone around her, her family, his family, their friends, expected it to be beautiful and perfect. The flowers had already been arranged in delicate whites and soft blushes, the church decorated, the rehearsal dinner wrapped up. Everything had gone smoothly, too smoothly almost. And yet, sitting there in silence, Emily felt the ground beneath her feet shift. She kept replaying the moments she had ignored, the way Ryan sometimes dismissed her dreams as impractical, the way he could be charming in public but distracted in private, the way she had convinced herself over and over that doubts were just cold feet. But were they? Or was her heart trying to tell her something she was too afraid to admit? Her phone buzzed on the table, a text from her maid of honor reminding her to get some rest. Emily smiled faintly, set it aside, and pressed her forehead against the cool glass of the window. Rest was impossible. She had never felt more awake in her life. That's when the knock came. It was soft at first, almost tentative. Emily hesitated before opening the door. When she did, she found Jake standing there, Ryan's older brother. His tall frame filled the doorway, his expression calm but concerned. He held a paper cup of coffee in his hand, steam curling into the hallway light. "You're not sleeping, are you?" Jake asked, his voice low, as though he already knew the answer. Emily shook her head, stepping aside. "Come in." Jake set the cup on the table and took a seat across from her. He didn't waste words. He didn't force a smile. He just looked at her with the steady, grounded presence she had always admired in him. "Nervous?" he asked after a long silence. Emily tried to laugh, but it came out as a sigh. "Isn't every bride nervous?" "There's nervous," Jake said softly, "and then there's doubt. They feel different, Em. One is your body reminding you that something important is happening. The other is your heart trying to warn you." His words cut sharper than she expected. Emily's throat tightened. She looked down at her hands, twisting the edge of her sleeve. "And what if I can't tell which one it is?" Jake leaned forward, his eyes steady. "Then you listen until you can. Don't ignore it. Don't bury it. You deserve to walk into tomorrow knowing exactly why you're saying yes." The truth in his words both comforted and unsettled her. Jake didn't stay long. He didn't overstep. He simply reminded her that it was okay to face what she was feeling. As he stood to leave, another knock came at the door. Emily frowned, surprised. This time, when she opened it, she found Adam, her childhood best friend. His sandy hair was a little messy, his shirt untucked as though he had been pacing his own room. He didn't even wait for an invitation before stepping in. "You didn't answer my calls," Adam said, his voice full of restless energy. "I knew you'd be awake." Emily gave a nervous laugh. "I didn't think you'd come to my room in the middle of the night." "Yeah, well," Adam muttered, pacing across the carpet. "I couldn't just let you sit here pretending you're fine. Em, I have to say this before tomorrow. If I don't, I'll regret it for the rest of my life." Her heart thudded. She already knew where this was going. She had felt it in the lingering looks, the way Adam always seemed to hesitate before saying goodbye. "Adam," she started, but he cut her off. "No, listen to me." He stopped pacing and looked her directly in the eyes. "Don't marry him if you're not sure. You've always chosen the safe road. College, jobs, relationships, you pick the path that makes sense, the one everyone expects you to. But I've seen the other side of you. The side that wants adventure, that wants something more than just safe and stable. If you marry Ryan just because it's what you're supposed to do, you're going to bury that fire. And I can't stand by and let you do that." Emily felt tears sting her eyes. His words shook her, not because they were entirely new, but because they echoed the whispers already in her heart. She had spent years convincing herself that stability was enough. But was it? Before she could respond, before she could even gather her thoughts, another knock sounded at the door. Emily's heart nearly stopped. She opened it, and standing there was her father, Daniel Parker. He was still dressed from the rehearsal dinner, his tie loosened, his eyes kind but sharp. "I figured I'd find you awake," he said, his voice warm with understanding. He stepped inside, taking in the sight of Jake and Adam. He didn't question why they were there. He just walked straight to Emily and placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "I remember this night," he said softly. "The night before I married your mother, I thought about running. Not because I didn't love her, but because forever felt too heavy. Commitment is supposed to feel heavy. That's what makes it real." Emily's eyes filled as she leaned into his touch. "But how do I know if it's right?" Her father smiled sadly. "That's the question no one can answer for you. You can listen to advice, you can weigh the risks, but at the end of the day, only you can decide if you want to carry that weight with him." The room grew still. For hours, the four of them talked. Emily confessed her fears, the doubts she had buried, the dreams she still wanted to chase. Jake reminded her that stability was not the same as love. Adam reminded her that passion mattered as much as comfort. Her father reminded her that love was a choice renewed every day, not just once at the altar. By the time dawn touched the horizon, Emily felt something shift inside her. She didn't have all the answers. She didn't know exactly what she would say when she stood at the altar. But she knew this. She would speak from truth, not fear. The night before Vows had not been quiet. It had not been simple. But because three men came to her room, Emily stepped into the morning with clarity. She walked down the aisle with her head held high, ready to decide her future with honesty, no matter what it meant.